am Maya Youssef. I'm a Syrian British qanun player, composer, educator, and a mentor. I play the qanun. So meet the qanun. The qanun is a 78 stringed plucked zither from that exists all over the Arab world. This specific one is from Syria, and I am so excited to be artist in residence for Norfolk and Norwich Festival for 2026. So when I was very little, I grew up in a house of music and books, and so to stop me from tapping and singing all the time, my parents put me in a music institute. So and there came the big moment when I was supposed to pick one instrument after 2 years of intensive training, and so my parents were like, violin, and I wasn't very keen. I took it on, but I don't know, it didn't feel like it was the instrument for me until one day I was at the age of 8. I sat at the backseat of a taxi with my mother, heading towards the my music theory class at the institute, and the taxi driver turned on the radio and something like this came up. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this instrument? And the taxi driver said, oh, this is the qanun, but this is an instrument for men. Forget about it, you're a girl. I felt so angry with them, and I will play this instrument, you will see. So that very night, destiny was calling to me, and I walk into my music theory class, and the head of the institute walks in to announce the opening of a qanun class. And so I ran after the class to register, to the astonishment of my mother, because it's really rare until today to have a female qanun player. But it has been my friend and my companion for, over 3 decades of my life. Okay, so the qanun has a really cool story that kind of describes its sound. It's from 1001 Nights, and the story goes that Abu Nasr al-Farabi, he's a real person. He was one of, he's one of the most important musicologists and music theorists in the history of Arabic music. But somehow he found his way to the 1001 Nights. And so the story goes that Al-Farabi was improving on the qanun, and he believed that it possessed some magical abilities. And so to test it, he took it to a gathering, and there he played something really jolly, maybe sounded like this. Everyone was dancing, and then he played something that was so sorrowful that maybe sounded like this. Everyone was crying, and then he played something that was so mellow and so soothing that maybe sounded like this. And everybody fell asleep. And so his theory that the qanun is so closely connected to the human emotions was proven to be correct, and of course I completely agree with him. Yes, when I heard my mentor Khalil Qaraduman, it was like he's like so expressive and so raw and so real in his playing. In the beginning I was told play like a lady, and that really didn't resonate with me. I just wanted to be truthfully me. And so seeing my mentor to play with such expression, with such emotion and such openness, changed my life forever. And so I owe it to him. He gave me the permission to be fully myself. In Syria and in the Arab world, so we have a modal system that is kind of the mother source of everything. You can think of it as the equivalent of the raga system in Indian classical music. We call it, in Arabic music, we call it maqam. And maqam is literally the source of everything. And so my starting point is always maqam, because it's a very different musical world to classical music. Yes, I'm trained in both the classical Western music and the Arabic music system, but it always starts with Arabic music, which is, which for instance has some, these weird, amazingly sounding notes between the cracks. So this is the starting point, and this reminds me of something that my father drilled into my head from a very young age. He said, "The person who does not have a past doesn't have a future." And so, I am who I am because I am so rooted in the Arabic tradition, in the maqam tradition, in the classics. And then, from there, like a tree, my branches can kind of expand and explore all sorts of musical horizons that are quirky, different, and fully myself. But it all starts with that grounding, because if you do not have a past, you don't have a future. If I can play a duet with any musician, it will be definitely be young Gabrick. In fact, I did try to ask for that to happen. It's a dream of mine. Listening to him is so freeing, and he soars in ways that really touches my soul. So it would be a dream to play with him one day. When I perform for people on stage, it's a sacred duty. It's not a normal thing for me. It's just not like, it's not just something casual, because music is part of my spiritual practice. And so, whether I'm teaching or whether I'm performing, whether I'm composing, my prayer is always like, for God, source, whatever you want to call it, this mighty power that governs this world, to bring in comfort, healing, um, and love to whoever is listening. So that is always my intention behind anything and everything I do with music. My creative process is, what can I say? Um, I always like to talk about it as if it's like the muse. The muse is quite temperamental, and she will kick me if I don't listen to her. And she's always like drawing me into these like really unusual places. Um, but I learned to just kind of like, just, respectfully listen and just go. But yeah, I pray before I write anything, before I go on stage. Um, and and I think of myself as, a humble servant or a humble conduit to whatever wants to come through. um so, and that's really good, because then it doesn't become about you and you don't freak out. Becomes, the people who are you playing for are the center. um and so, yeah, this is how I look at music, you know no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm teaching or performing. It always starts with a prayer.